You're live. You might be live. Okay, we're almost to the time of the day when the sun really starts coming through the window, but it's not a terribly warm day, so hopefully it won't be too much of an issue. And I realize this isn't very festive autumny or holiday attire and kind of a mixed metaphor with the sailor hat with the pilot shirt-ish, but it is what it is. I didn't think that my pilot-y hat looked as good on camera, so I figured I'd do this. And my hair's probably a mess from being under a wool hat too. So, two things. Okay, I showed earlier. The Carhartt shirt did come, but the other ones I ordered at the same time as the Carhartt shirt didn't come yet. So I'm saving that for the flannel shirt video. So let's get that out of the way. That was the expensive shirt though, and I did get a Boot Barn coupon in the mail for $15 off or whatever it was, which I did use, but the email for go pick up the shirt hasn't come in yet because it was $8 for shipping. So that was half the coupon. So I didn't feel like using all the coupon on shipping or half and tax. So most of the coupon went probably to tax instead of shipping, but I'll still have to go to Boot Barn and pick up the shirt that I didn't need. As I think I talked about in the flannel shirt video I did last week or whatever, was it before or after I ordered this? When was that? 12 days ago, so it was before I ordered these, so maybe I mentioned them in the boot video. I don't remember. Yeah, anyway, I didn't really need more flannel shirts at all. I have tons. But I wanted to look at a couple brands that I haven't really looked at before, Carhartt being one of them, and the other company was Key. They've been around for a long time, Key Apparel, actually, and I hadn't really heard of them. I had heard of them before Carl Morawski, though, because what's his name? Essential Craftsman or whatever he calls himself. He had talked about jeans, I think it was this spring, and I just rewatched that video recently, even though I don't really need any jeans either. I was just kind of curious what jeans he likes and blah, blah, blah. And I don't remember exactly which ones he likes and doesn't. But so as a result, I did order a couple shirts from Wrangler instead of Boot Barn. So turned out it was cheaper to get them this way, but then Boot Barn had a buy one, get one or something. So maybe I would have saved money getting it from Boot Barn or whatever. So when I go to pick up the shirt, I have another coupon that's good for $75, $25 off of that or something. I don't know. I probably won't use it. We'll see how it goes. But so I do have two Wrangler shirts here that I've owned these shirts before, but they were in like size medium, so I had to sell them off a long time ago. And then when I was annoyed about something, I went to Amazon and they said I had a gift card in addition to my club points from when they screwed up my previous order or whatever. So I ended up getting to use my gift card. So this didn't actually cost me anything now, even though I returned the other thing or whatever. And well, it was supposed to be free with my points, and I ended up having to buy it on my credit card. So instead of giving me a refund, they gave me a gift card. So technically, I paid for this several months ago and just finally got it now, right? But it was still something that I shouldn't have needed to buy with a gift card because they should have gave me the free thing before with my points or whatever. And this also came from Amazon free, which goes with that item, which I will open later. But those two items will be in a head-to-head with one of the items in the Key Apparel bag, which was, I don't know which one to consider the impulse buy, but I can always return one of them, and get back my gift card or get back the money. But everything on Key Apparel was about $10 off discounted. I don't know what their standard pricing always is or whatever, but it seemed like it was not super expensive. The flannel shirts were like $23 or something. Some of the sizes were already picked through. Most of the plaid ones, I wasn't that interested in getting more plaid shirts anyway, were already gone. But for some reason, the shirts that I ordered before any of this other stuff haven't come yet, but this came that I ordered like the next day or whatever. So hooray. So let's start with the Wrangler. Okay. And so, like I said, this was shirts that you can get at Boot Barn, and they were costing a little bit more, but if you have the coupon or whatever, it'd probably come to around the same if you wanted to try them on first and everything. I was willing to risk the extra large this time because I think these shirts do shrink a bit. I remember them getting kind of rumply texture when I washed them, not necessarily shrinkage. So I'll have to try them on and post later how they do. Not really a winter shirt. More of a maybe an early autumn shirt, depending on where you are. Definitely spring and possibly some summer use. But long story short, it's just your basic blue chambray with the Western fit and the Western snaps and all that. And I'll open one of them out of the bag, but the other one is literally the same thing in just the other color. So it's the plum or pink or whatever you want to call it. Just because I didn't feel like buying two blue ones. I have a bunch of blue chambray nautical shirts already, so these are just cowboy-ish ones instead. I could wear the nautical ones with cowboy hats and boots and wouldn't bother me because that's more or less historically accurate, but I'm keeping them separate for now because, and I do like the snap shirts for certain occasions or times or things. And in fact, again, going with these other products, I brought in some of my other ones that I had from before, like this JCPenney one with the stripes. That's kind of meant to look like an indigo one, and then this, a couple of bean ones. One is their newer stretch, comfort stretch that I haven't tried yet. This is a short sleeve one though, so I might have to go get one of the other ones instead, not wear this one yet. And then this is your typical or traditional vintage chambray is the name of the color, but the Easy Care chambray. So what's the difference? I don't know if they still offer the Easy Care because it doesn't have the poly blend in it that all the newer ones do. So you might not even be able to get the Easy Care anymore. I don't know, but it should be 100% cotton. So I'll definitely try and wear this in like a head-to-head with the Wrangler one a little bit in the near future, although I also got out all my holiday fabric stuff already. But, you know, it's still early December, so I still have like a week and a half or so before I'm really committed to wearing holiday, you know, beach. I haven't even taken my autumn decorations out yet, so, you know, we'll get there maybe. But so, yeah, these are a little lighter weight than and a little bit looser weave than the twill work shirts. Wrangler has those twill ones that are pretty durable, I would say, overall. A little bit of this. And they give you a cheap hanger that I'll throw in the garage. So, yeah, and they do have a point collar with no collar stay, so the collars can get kind of here and there. But I don't think these wash as poorly as the, that's just this. I don't think that the chambrays wash as poorly as some of their flannels. And I was tempted when I was doing the Boot Barn coupon to check out their Riggs workwear, but I just really didn't need that much more workwear. I have tons and I don't really do construction or anything. Just picking these off. There's several of these. But like I said, I plan to wear this shirt soon, so I'll take it out of the bag and give you all. But there's this, the cowboy cut, authentic Western work shirt, classic fit. So hopefully fits me better than the last one I had, and I'll read this if I can. Sometimes the lighting makes it kind of hard to really focus. And some fuzzball. Let's find the piping or whatever. Limited 1-year warranty. And I bought this direct, not like I said from Boot Barn. So I guess I need to hold on to this card somewhere, as if I'll remember. If either the workmanship or materials in this product garment is defective, return it to quality control department, blah, blah, blah. North Carolina. Although this, I think, shipped from Texas. So it didn't take that long to get here. This warranty is void if the garment has been subjected to accidental damage, abuse, or is worn out. If it wears out in a year, I'm not buying them again. I'll tell you that. Even as infrequently as I wear some shirts, other shirts, like, they better last. I don't know. You may have rights which vary from the state to state. Okay. So that's it. But it's basically just a shirt, and it should, okay, tag, be 100% cotton. It claims to be 100%, I thought. Made in Bangladesh. And nothing on the back of that tag. And then, of course, the hem. The hem is the one thing you might not love, where it's just this kind of surged, almost unfinished bottom. 100% cotton. Yep. And these tags are really annoying. But I don't know if you chop this off, if you can still honor your warranty or not. Machine wash cold, inside out with light colors. Only non-chlorine bleach when needed. Tumble dry low or line dry. Okay, so that's, like I said, I've tumble dried them, and they do wrinkle a bit. If you're really particular or finicky, you can iron them. The sleeves are typically, in the cowboy cut, the sleeves are typically a little too long in both large and extra large, so I'll just have to kind of deal with it. And of course, this placket, I think, shrinks up a little bit, but of course it's not adjustable because you only get the snaps in the one spot. You don't get a second row like typical buttons, so that can be a problem depending. I have those shirts that I got from Boot Barn where I definitely need to get this placket reduced so it's not so hanging over my hand. This shouldn't be as bad once it's been washed, like I said. And it doesn't have, it does have yokes, but they're not very expressive or whatever. And it does have flat pockets. And of course, a little bit of branding on the one. You could remove that if you really, 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 really wanted to. And it does have a pen slot, which I don't really want or need, but there it is. At least not in this type of shirt. I typically don't want that. And we've got a loose thread here in the front. Okay, it's not pulling out. I'll have to scissors that. So that's your basic model. So like I said, I'll try it on. I'll wash it, see what happens. And the other one's the exact same size. So we'll skip opening that for now, like I said. And skipping the Carhartt, and we're not opening the LLP. And it does not have any packing slips or anything, just a bag. That. Okay, so then moving to this baggie then first. The Amazon baggie, lighter than our smallest box. So this was, I did a video episode number 243 about my overalls and bibs and the ones that I made. I kind of wanted to, compete with some of those do-it-yourself for YouTube people that are all insane. And let me go off on a tangent about that real quick before I open this bag all the way. I talked about this in my holiday decor video earlier, but none of you have watched it, so I'll talk about it again briefly. One of the, and I realized, frugal living, the no buy year. Obviously, I bought stuff. Again, I didn't buy this. Literally, technically, I did, but but one of the women's videos that I watch most of the time. She likes to call it vintage fantasy potluck, where a lot of the other minimalists and such are always saying you eliminate your fantasy self. She's the opposite. She's making her own clothes, and they're all, you know, vintage or Hobbit style or whatever. But of course, like I said, when I go out in public, I don't see a lot of women who really dress like that at all, ever. Even in Holly Weird or whatever, they're still mostly wearing jeans and hoodies and t-shirts and that. But so that's kind of her theme. My theme would be more Americana, I guess, if I had to pick one and kind of run with it, as opposed to just buying whatever I want and trying to fit it into a category later. Sometimes the category is obvious. Like, I mean, obviously this category is, boat, as opposed to, cowboy. I don't have any cowboy hats here right now. Well, I do have my sort of Montana fishing hat that I was wearing earlier, but that sort of thing. But I mean, I just bought that hat because it had a brim, not because it was, I mean, it is a specific look, but it was inexpensive and it filled a void at the time. But so she had done decades in a week. Like during the pandemic, people were coming up with all this stuff, and I kind of missed that boat and didn't really ever get that audience. But so she did 1910, 1920, 1930, 1940, 1950, 1960, and 1970 in 7 days. And of course, I felt like, 3 of these decades at least were totally underrepresented, and probably 1940s as well. So I would think if you were going to do that as a YouTube thing, it'd be better to do a decade a week and have different outfits from that decade. Like in the 40s, you'd have the military stuff and, then the civilian stuff. The 30s, maybe a little bit less. Maybe the 30s and the 40s would kind of have to be part of the same decade, because I don't know how much you could really, squeeze out of that. As a man, women's clothing is different. You'd have way more options. 1920s, same thing. You kind of have the black tie and then the casual suits or whatever. It's not as, it'd be a little bit harder to stretch a week. But if you were going to dress that way regularly, where you really want to be Peaky Blinders or Boardwalk Empire or whatever, you're going to need more than one outfit, most of the time, if you're really that committed anyway. Then, of course, the 50s and the 60s, there's the iconic stuff like the greasers, and then there's the less iconic regular stuff like, what I talked about in the Dead Poets Society casual outfits video from way back when. Was that 2 years ago already? I don't remember. But if you go back far enough, you can find it in my preppy stuff. I know I put the thumbnail in the more current preppy video that I did, which was a lot easier to find, episode number 245. So, only 18 views. So chances are you haven't watched that one yet. So you can go back and watch that one and find the link to the other one. Anyway, so this item is I know it was a long preamble, but a video that I've been more likely to do photos than, posing in outfits for this kind of thing. And I had, I used to do, before I started doing the live, I used to intercut photos into my videos from the past. And I pretty much already intercut all the photos that were interesting anyway in my original videos. So go watch the first 30 or whatever, and you'll see most of my good photos from when I was younger. So anyway, yeah. So Essential Craftsman, he talked about Key jeans, prison blue jeans, Carhartt, which he said was actually kind of meh, which was kind of surprising. Duluth, which I don't think I've ever had any of the Duluth jeans. And then he said he liked the Wrangler rigs, and I don't have any of the Wrangler rigs, but most of my jeans now that I do have that fit that I could wear are actually Wrangler jeans, because they tend to be a little less expensive than Levi's jeans, but I have not bought any recently because I have a whole bunch that I haven't even worn yet. Because I don't wear jeans all that much. I wear khaki pants and chino pants, and here's a pair of pleated chino pants, for example, just because I'm wearing gray stuff, so I can do a gray laundry day. So there's that. And as I mentioned in my previous video, I did compile my list from the 12 boots challenge, but this week I mixed it up and I did wear a couple of different boots. I wore the Ariat boots and I put in the foam and tried to mix with the outsoles, and I'll talk about all that in a different video. I won't go into that now. But the other video that I wanted to discuss, like I said, I don't know if I'll do all those decades, but I might try to put together a photo essay and put it in the community menu in the near future for those who might like to see different looks and fits and that kind of thing that aren't totally minimalist and I only wear black jeans with my black t-shirt and all that nonsense. And upcoming that I did not receive yet is some tweed items. This is one really. But I decided that I can do maybe a more proper head-to-head tweed video discussing that stuff. So I saved that, like I said, along with the flannel shirts because it hasn't come yet. So I'll do another one of these reveal videos next week, maybe. But one of the videos I watched recently was 9 clothes to declutter, but it was, again, women's clothes. So not exactly suited to our conversation. If you're a man, if you're a woman who watches this because you wear men's clothes or something, then, you know, I'm not trying to exclude you. Whatever. But judging from the amount of viewers I get on my videos that aren't about boots, there might be one of you out there. I don't know. Let's see. He did a video about undershirts. Yeah, undershirts and overshirts. See, right now I'm not wearing an undershirt. Earlier I actually was. It was a little too thick for this shirt, so it was kind of like, even though this is stretchy fabric that I don't usually buy, it was still kind of restrictive. But one of the conversations we've often had as men is, or should, I guess, is, you know, when to wear a t-shirt and when not to as an undergarment, because if you're wearing like more of a dressy shirt, you kind of want it to catch the sweat so you're not ruining your good shirt as much. But then if it's hot, sometimes you want to catch the sweat, but sometimes you want to enjoy the breathability of the seersucker fabric or whatever. And so sometimes you are sacrificing either the under or the outer for comfort or whatever, or, you know, blah, blah, blah. And that brings us again back to this video that had nothing to really do with that tangent. She was arguing that men damage the planet more with our purchases than the argument about women potentially bankrupting a household with their spending habits, because women are more likely to recycle, which is really a virtue signal, as we all know, in a lot of ways. But she also was very reductive or dismissive or whatever word you want to try and apply to the type of the purchases that the men have to buy. Like, men have to buy the cars for work or even the bigger trucks. But also, she said men spend less on clothing overall and tend to wear them till they wear out. Yeah, you're not recycling a shirt that you're wearing out. There's nothing left to recycle, or the rear blows out of your jeans. You know, maybe you can find a use for that denim to patch something else or whatever, but you're definitely not going to remake that pair of jeans. In fact, I come into the product I'll talk about in a minute. I tried to save a lot of denim to make double knee jeans, but finding a tailor or a seamstress or one of those dry cleaners where they have a machine that's tough enough to actually handle denim on denim is actually kind of more difficult than you think. And leather, same thing. So you'd have to find somebody who does leather most of the time to get them to do heavy duty denim as well. So another side note that she doesn't address, because she obviously doesn't really mend clothing all that much, because she was talking about other stuff that, again, contradictions. She was saying the armholes on this blouse don't fit good, so I don't like to wear it. So I'm just going to declutter it. It's like, okay, well, that would take like a seamstress 15 minutes to adjust that for you. And then you have an all new blouse that you could just wear, stuff like that. But also men spend less on clothes overall. I have a ton of clothes and I don't apologize for it at all. Even before I started doing this channel, but she was saying men buy more stuff like alcohol and tobacco. But again, men have to buy a jet ski because women aren't buying a jet ski, but the woman will still use the jet ski. Men buy a boat because they want the boat, but the women will still use the boat, but they're not buying the boat. Men buy the truck to go to the work to make the money to buy the woman all her clothes that she wants to, again, maybe bankrupt the household with. Not to turn this into the manosphere or whatever, but it's like, let's dig a little deeper instead of just making an overgeneralization. And men buy more alcohol. Yeah, we have to buy your drinks too. So, when's the last time most of these women went to a bar and bought their own drinks all night? Oh, but the men overspend on, vices and motor vehicles or something. So it's all, you got to take it all that with a grain of salt. But minimalism, again, I'm still doing the no buy year or the low buy year it's turned into or whatever. Not so much to try and fix a shopaholic addiction or something, as much as, I just already have a ton of stuff. So I don't need that much more. But some things I do want, and some things, again, I already have the gift card. I might as well use it. Even though I don't use every gift card and discount they send, because again, half the time the tax eats it up or the shipping eats it up, and it's like, I didn't really save any money. I just got the thing, but it depends on how much of it the sale price was, if it was really good. What is this? Blackjack boots. Oh, that was from the other guy's video. I was looking at blackjack boots, and the one site that he linked it to didn't have my size. He insists they have a whole bunch of sizes. So maybe someday in the future I'll look at them again, but right now I have 3 pairs of cowboy boots, one of which I haven't even worn yet. But yeah, men spend the money and use the product most of the time, and the women can use the product too, even though they didn't have to spend the money. Like I said, and obviously every household can be different or slightly different or whatever. Again, we're not trying to overgeneralize everything here. Okay, saving that for next time, and that's boots. Yes, the end of this week, I'll do a proper boot video, and whether or not I end the challenge early is still kind of up in the air because I do still have some boots that I haven't worn. And all that. So anyway, so direct from Amazon, after all that long. I didn't say this would be a short video, and if you always want to scroll ahead, we'll have done that already. And again, no packing slips and all that. So this is, I looked up the name brand from when I was young and found out they do still exist, but I don't think they carry my size. So I don't know if this will fit. I bought by what I thought was the correct size. And I can't get the bag to open. Ripping the bag instead of the thing cooperating. So this is a pair of not as heavy as denim weight, but railroad style overalls that I've wanted for quite a while. In the Wilfred Brimley type, and I got the 4230. So we're gonna try and see if they'll fit right on camera. What is that doing? Oh, okay, nothing. So this is the, I don't know anything about this brand. This was what was available on Amazon. And whatever price they were. So that's the back, and the front has a couple little pockets and then a snap. It looks like it's a divided pocket. I don't like that, but that's life. So I've got a divided front bib pocket. Yeah, I might have to. It's double stitched. I don't know how easy I can separate that. And I don't know how adjustable these doohickeys are. We'll find out. But for now, And this material, find the tag, it does have pockets down the front. It does have 2 side adjuster buttons. And here's a tag. See what it says here. 100% cotton. That's what it claims. Exclusive of decoration or trimmings. And machine wash cold with light colors. I pretty much wash everything in warm instead of cold, just so you know. So it's got some pretty big back pockets. I don't necessarily like that because your wallet can go anywhere. And it does have carpenter pockets, but it does have a carpenter loop. Okay. I might remove that just because they get in the way if they're not doing carpenter stuff. And I guess a phone pocket on this side that didn't used to be standard to have pockets on both sides of carpenter pants that I recall. And it does have a fly with a zipper, which most of my, in fact, I don't think I've ever had a pair of overalls that had a zip fly before. So that's different and new and unique and maybe handy. And typically you don't wear these over your other pants, or you don't have to, like coveralls, but they should be able to fit over a pair of pants anyway. And that's how I know if they're going to go up my rear or be comfortable. So the reason I got out the chambray shirts was to kind of show what might go good with this type of thing. Whereas I think this might be a little too busy with the stripes on stripes, but historically could also be somewhat accurate. But yeah, that seems like it's a pretty good fit actually, without having to adjust that too much. I have to adjust this a little bit. Snaps right in. Yes, sirree. Okay. So definitely no mixed message, right? Wrong hat. They do feel like they have a little bit of stretchy to them. The whole, I don't know, 100% cotton, but it feels like there's some stretchy thing going on here, especially in this straps. That's where I first noticed it, I should say. And then the pockets, hand pockets, and the bib. So yeah, pretty good fit, pretty good. Hopefully they don't shrink too bad. If they shrink at all, might be an issue. But again, I had a gift card, so along with that, there's a couple different ones of this. This should be the Rothko one. Yes, for Amazon. Now I wasn't positive, but typically my hat size is a little bit smaller, so I got my medium. Oh yeah, there we go. So a complete change of outfit all of a sudden. Now I'm a brakeman, like Wilford Brimley in the film. So that's part of my haul there. This, again, I got this for free or whatever. It was like $13 or something. So it cost a little bit more than the Marine Corps ones. It doesn't match exactly the stripes. It's a little bit different, but that's your basic model. Sorry, my hair just went crazy because I had the hat on. Also 100% cotton, made in China, but it is a real Rothko, which is not an authentic military brand, but they have some stuff that's decent reproduction. I don't want to get sweat all on the new hat. That wool hat was really doing me in. But no, my hair looks a little stupid. Life goes on. So yeah, I don't want to sweat up the new hat too badly. I already got a little bit wet, but at least it fits. So that brings us to Today's big baggie, the key apparel. And this bag is much more collectible. So the first thing I want to show, because again, I don't remember what I paid for these, but coincidentally enough, they have their version of them that I decided I would check out and compare. And so I don't know if I should do more of a head-to-head version or not, but they do have big back pockets too. I got the little bit shorter. I got the 29s instead of the 30s this time. The front bib, we'll come to that in a minute. The back bib has a little bit of their name on here and a triangle yoke. Is the yoke different on this? You can see it, I can't. Yeah, smaller triangle. Smaller triangle and a little bit of branding. So far, like I said, I'm pretty happy with these Amazon ones, but I decided that I would have a head-to-head since these were, I don't remember if they were like $25 or something. They were not that expensive overall, I don't think. Overall, pun intended. Hickory stripe overall, adjustable shoulder straps, true diamond back construction, tradesman bib, pocket design, button, side closures. There should be 2 buttons, same as this one. It does also have a loop. Yeah, 2 buttons. Branded. There's a little branding on the bib. I don't know if that's easily removable or not. The front bib has this kind of cockeyed pocket front deal going on. Again, a divided pocket with a snap on one side and a flap snap on the other side. So this one a little more complicated. I think it'll be easier to work with this pocket than this pocket. The adjuster thingies look like a nice brass color, not quite this dorky shiny, and the hardware looks a little bit more sturdy. But yeah, I'd say the key hardware is a little better, but again, what do I expect from Amazon? If it holds them up, it's doing its job, right? Also made in China though, 100% cotton. So made in China. Read it and weep. And yada yada yada. Let me finish reading this. 11.5 ounce fabric. So again, not as thick and heavy as like a 14-ounce denim or whatever. Triple needle stitched, double utility pockets on right legs. So again, we have no phone pocket on this side, but we do have carpenter pockets on this side, which I don't think would have been standard on a train employee railroad issue or whatever. I think that was probably added in a more modern age. What do we got? Do we have a zip fly? Yes, we do. I don't know if the zipper is good or not, but we do in fact have a zip fly. We do in fact have similar pockets for their hands. So let's go ahead and try them on. Oh, I really should have done the part 1, part 2, part 3 card. we missed our chance. And if you're religious, Merry holiday. So again, I want to know if these fit over regular pants. I might have to edit that out. I think my pants wanted to go with the overalls on camera there. That was not supposed to happen. At least I wasn't naked. I won't be trying on any of the other garments, not just because of that reason. But yikes. Okay. I know I've seen other videos where guys are in their drawers. I'm not the first one. But it definitely was not what I wanted. Haven't? Okay. So once again, these are a little bit shorter. I don't know how much they're going to look like high waters or how well they're going to fit. But if I can wear them over pants, then that's all good. Is that all right? Adjust this. And once again, the weave of the two fabrics is not an exact match, but pretty close. A little bit stretched, but not as much as the previous. Oops. The sticker fell off, wherever that came off. So yeah, that's your basic model. Hopefully nothing too embarrassing happens with my nakedness. Again, I don't know about this. And I don't know about this. This is sewed in pretty good. This is going to require a bit of effort to remove that. And like I said, I think I'd rather have one big bib pocket than this floaty stuff. These snaps, this one seems like kind of crappy. The other one's a little better. This one doesn't look like it wants to stay. I might end up having to remove this flap just for that reason. And it's got this buttonhole here for some reason. Don't know what that's for. Yeah, I mean, they're putting my other pants into my crack a little bit, but not horrible. So, like I said, I'll try and do a head-to-head with these guys, especially washing them first and seeing how that goes. These are definitely long enough without too much break and whatnot. So I don't know if these will be too long, but I can always hem them a little bit if I have to. The texture of the fabric, very similar. The key feels like it's maybe a little bit thicker. So let me read this that I didn't read. Triple stitch seams, brass plated buttons and snaps, easy slide, dependable suspender hardware, zipper fly, comfortable fit, strong durable fabric, machine washable, 100% cotton since 1916. So they've been around, but I never heard of them before, never looked for them before. I was lazy, even though I've wanted them for a while. So now I have two to compare. So that's all right. And were these were made in China too, right? I think they both. Where's the tag? Where's the tag, man? No, Vietnam. These big boys were made in Vietnam. The key was made in China. Okay. So, good to know. Again, what's the main difference? This fabric's maybe a little bit thicker. I didn't see too much other. The color's pretty much exactly the same. The feel, pretty close. So, yeah, I don't see any significant. They could be made by the same fabric company for all I know, and I'm just fooling myself by where they're assembled or some other feature. But But yeah, for the price, whatever, I don't remember what they cost on Amazon. And for this or that, I mean, if you thought the key ones were too expensive, or you wanted the, you know, the shinier hardware for some reason, or you'd like this pocket better or whatever, I'd say they're pretty straightforward. There's 2 buttonholes on here. Again, what that's for, I don't know. And then it's riveted. All that kind of thing. So that's my 2 new overalls and my hat and my 2 shirts. So what else did I get from Key? So from Key, I got, again, instead of Carhartt, I've never really owned anything from Carhartt, honestly. That shirt is, I think, the first main thing. I think I might have some little accessory stuff or something somewhere, but I have not had Carhartt experience to talk about. But so I got these duck jeans, and they are double knee with carpenter loops and big pockets. So similar to the Carhartt flagship. And I got the 4230. I don't think there was a 29 available, but the price was definitely pretty low. So they have a slightly different pocket design from like a Levi's or whatever. They have, again, the subdued brass hardware. Kind of a thin, wimpy zipper, same as the coveralls. I don't know how much I like that zipper. It seems like they're saving some money on this zipper. That might definitely be an issue. Again, the big guy overalls. I think this zipper is better. Maybe don't hold me to it, but I think this zipper might be better. But the clips here on this is definitely better. Yeah, that seems like a nice smooth zipper so far anyway. Big Smith. Sorry, I keep giving you the wrong name. Where's this zipper? This is the exact same zipper on here as on here. So I don't like the Chinese zipper as much as the Vietnamese zipper. So that's a fact. That came off of the coveralls, not off the pants. That's just what's sticking to my leg. Okay, let's get that out of here. Okay. So yeah, 30 length. I didn't have a choice on that. I had to get a little bit longer. So I don't know if I'll need to hem that or not. And again, Miss Duck, as you know, I've had varying degrees of, this is thicker than some of the JCPenney ones. I had a pair of JCPenney canvas pants that I literally blew out the crotch in one day in Yosemite. This should last longer than that. Will this last as long as a Carhartt? I don't know, and I don't think it really matters because I don't wear double knee work jeans all that much, but it's nice to have them around in case. This one has the opening at the bottom here, but you don't put knee pads in through that. I don't know. I think that's just to relieve some stress so they don't wear out as quickly and get a hole there. Don't hold me to that. I don't know. Maybe they're just being cheap and don't want to use the thread that it would take to seal up. I'm just tossing out extra threads that are coming off these. Vietnamese threads, I think. Are these Vietnam? No, these are China. So I was wrong. That's the Vietnamese zipper. This is the China zipper. Okay. So also made in China. Unfortunately, that's one of the ways we keep the costs down, where we can get a pair of pants for, less than $30 or whatever this was. I should have looked up the prices again before I did the video, but I didn't bother because the Black Friday sale is probably over, so I don't know what the regular prices are, and they might be regular priced already again. And you'll be unhappy if I tell you they're only $23, and you go on the website and you go, no, they're not. They're like $46. What are you talking about? So again, probably similar to some ones that Duluth offers, probably similar to some ones that Carhartt offers. Somebody else can do the head-to-head on that. like I said, a essential craftsman. He's not as scientific as some of the other sites, but he likes the stuff he likes, so that's kind of acceptable. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention I also have the Stormy Cromer hat, which is technically a. I'm all over the place. So I'm not doing part one, part two. This is technically a railroad hat, also, where the thing is supposed to come down and keep the hat on your head. But I find that this thing rides up too much, and the hat is kind of warmer than I need for most. I've been wearing it in the evenings a bit, and it's pretty comfortable, but it also gets hot on the head a lot faster. And this earmuffs doesn't really do what I want it to do. But so there's my railroad hat, and then I also have this another striped shirt, but with the no collar, the banded collar. So that might work. I don't think it's too busy with the. Can't really make it go. Stripes on stripes. I don't know. I also have a blue one and a tan one somewhere. The tan one's boxed up for the duration. But of course, I only wore this shirt like twice so far. I forgot to show it when I showed the other ones. But some stuff, like I said, as far as menswear go, I don't own a lot of red clothing. So I'm going to have a piece of red clothing. It's kind of more use case specific. So maybe with something like this. So bringing us finally to the most gratuitous thing that I really probably don't need. Yet another pair of denim jeans. Because all I do is complain on other people's channels about how much I don't like denim jeans. But these were, yeah, literally on special right now for like $23 or something. And they do have the riveted double knees. Whereas it looked like these were not riveted. So that's one kind of odd thing. They're only stitched. No rivets. I don't know if that'll matter. But again, like I was saying, with old denim, the front can blow out pretty significantly, especially up around the underwear and down around the knees. But the back of the legs, there's usually a significant amount of fabric that you can keep and make your own double knees for your next pair of jeans rather than buying some, I guess, if you can find, again, a tailor who will actually do that work, and they won't probably be riveting it. Again, might have to be a boot guy, not a seamstress, because he'll have a heavier duty machine. This does have suspender buttons though, which is nice, and they are on the outside for a more work use instead of a dressier use, because they're riveted, not sewn. And so that should be okay. I don't know about the waist and the fits and all that. Whatever seemed like the standard one is whatever I tried to buy. So these are called the double front denim logger dungarees. Work is tough, key is tougher. Rivets at stress points, 6 suspender buttons, reinforced double bottom, double button front pockets. Double button? Am I reading that right? Yep. No, double bottom front pocket. Oh, so that means they've reinforced the bag, I guess. I hope. I don't know. I don't see anything significantly interesting about this pocket bag at all, except for some lint. Yeah, maybe they mean on the inside something. I don't know. Yeah, something like that. I think that's what they're referring to. So there's a bunch of extra fabric gathered where it's kind of sewed and connected to somewhere, maybe. I don't know. I really don't know. This coin pocket is massive, so that's part of it. What this used to be for your pocket watch, and now I don't know what this is for. There's a whole bunch of loose denim coming out of here. Okay, so yeah, I don't know what I'm going to put in that. That's like a black hole. Not really a feature I know what to do with. But there's only one of them as standard, and then that. And then of course it does have a loop and a phone pocket on the one side, and then the 2 carpenter pockets on the other side. And some rivet here. and some rivet here. Double utility pockets, chap style double knee. I think this says chap. Relaxed fit, triple needle stitching. So yeah, again, I'm not going to strip down to my underwear and put on these pants on camera. I'll have to trim that out. That was a total accident. And the zipper, again, the same China zipper, I think. Not. That might be the one thing I don't. Is that supposed to be a YKK? Maybe it's a YKK. I don't know if YKK is the best. This doesn't look like the best zipper I've ever seen. This one's different, but this is like YSS or something. I don't think this is YKK. I think they're trying to fool me into thinking this is a YKK when it's not. Don't know. And this one's too far away. I can't read this at all. Yeah, this one looks like it says YSS or Chinese letters or something. This one looks like they're might be a different one, might be a slightly better one. Might be YKK, not sure. Not sure, but the Craftsman guy, I think he would have said if he really hated the zippers. I don't remember. He usually goes on details like that. Yeah, maybe this zipper's a little bit of an upgrade from these other two. Don't know, but these were not expensive pants. Again, they were $10 off or whatever. And they are heavy. They are a pretty substantial weight. And with the extra flap on the knees. There is that. So that's haul number one, or haul for now. Took an hour, a little bit longer than I expected. A little bit sweatier than I expected. So if you made it this far or you skipped ahead, whatever, as always, if you have any questions, put them in the comments. I will try to answer as best as I can. I don't always wash the clothes before I wear them, but a couple of these things I might wash first just to see how, like I said, how they shrink up or whatever, and mention that in the next video or whatever if necessary. I'll put it in the description or whatever later. But yeah, Merry Christmas to me, right? I got some stuff, but I didn't go too overboard, I hope. So like I said, yeah, tune back in. We'll talk about flannel shirts and some wool items and yeah, I don't know, boots, obviously. Maybe not obviously. If you're new to the channel, most of the people are here for boots. So thanks for coming by. Thanks for stopping in, and hopefully you check out the boot content.